YouTubers, good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mike. It's a beautiful Friday out there. Happy Friday to everybody. I'm just here at the shop hanging out. I got a few customers in transit here. So I want to do a quick morning coffee with Mike, brush up on a few things. Hope everybody's doing real good out there. Guys, don't forget to set your reminders for the hit show, Mike in the Night, this Saturday. Set your reminders, guys. It's going to be a great show. Lots of call-ins. We're going to get a lot of... I want to get more first-time callers in so we could hear what's happening on the ground. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Friday. All right. So anyways, I've been going through a few things, trying to figure things out. And one thing that's happening and then one thing that's been going on is we know what's going on. So let's go over a big headline, a big discussion piece that's happening. 94% of Chinese surveyed will pass on the vaccine. They're not taking the vax. No surprise there. Not because they're, it's not because they try to be like, it's, I think somebody knows something more. And you know how word travels, rumors travel. I don't know. 94% of Chinese surveyed says they'll pass on the vaccine. Now, we found out that wealthy investors are not being quarantined. So wealthy investors that want to come in and spend money, and during the whole thing that happened, flights from Canada to China were opened, pretty much. You could go to Shanghai, to parts of China, from Canada, no worries. Can't go to America, can't cross the border. Can't, because the media hype in America was just, oh my God, look at what's happening here. So obviously it's all political, and they use that politics on their side to kind of stop the Canadian brain drain. Like, there's a lot of, I've been getting emails from people from all over the country, Canada. They're saying, we're going to the States, we'll take our chances there, and you know what? At least we could get into a house there. At least we could start a life or something. At least there's a path to citizenship now. All you have to do is buy a property. And that's what a lot of wealthy investors are doing now from China. They're buying up Florida right now as we speak. They're buying up Florida. And, I mean, are they required to have passports, COVID passports? I don't think so. Okay, so there it is. So wealthy investors are not being quarantined, and a lot of wealthy investors coming into Canada, I heard, this is through rumor, that they're not being held in hotels with other people coming into the country. This is really, really crazy. So now it's going to be all one-sided. Going forward now, with China being the new superpower and taking over when it comes to China right now is fighting for superiority on COVID passports. They want to be the ones that basically run the COVID passport world for all of us. Look, we're the superpower. We got the majority of the guns. We got the majority of everything. We got the manpower, and we bought out all your housing. You can't even afford to live in your own housing. And I'm not actually saying that out of spite. I'm saying that because during a condo sell in Vancouver, if you wanted to buy the condo in Vancouver, and there's ones in Seattle too, you have to go to China to inquire at their sales office in China to buy a condo in Vancouver or Seattle. And they were laughing at us, saying, and the article's up, laughing that even the locals can't afford to buy into their own housing market. Ha ha ha, we can. And yeah, so that's something that's been going on for a while now. So let's move on to the whole Biden address. Like, who the heck voted for that guy? And I actually took some notes here. He mentioned the changing paradigm. Now, the changing paradigm, again, is the change of power. The Alaska summit was last week, and that was an absolute disaster. And the West, we're leaving it into the hands of people that are not for the people. If people were for the people, with the stroke of a pen, everything would be changed. Everything would be put in place. The people will go back into their own homes instead of being homeless, and the people will go back to their jobs. Things would change, but people aren't for the people, right? People, the leaders aren't for the people. The leaders are for themselves, big corporations, and appeasing other countries, right? And America is basically the leader. Joe Biden is look at Canada. That's a model country. Well, I don't know about that, because carbon tax is impoverishing and shutting down a lot of businesses. By 2030, we're done in Canada. It's over. Carbon tax is going to destroy everything that we've. I pay like 130. I think it was $94 last month in carbon tax to heat my home. So I mean, it's going to impoverish a lot of people, and it's going to put a lot of people forced into homelessness. So okay, so Xi Jinping quoted this morning that Biden doesn't have a democratic bone in his body. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't even know what's going on. And the problem is the people that are, I guess, fronting, or the people that are behind him, he's constantly looking around looking for answers, and which is, I don't know. I'm not even going to. North Korea's testing missiles, and they're switching it to war mode. So there it is right there with North Korea. North Korea is flexing its muscles. So we call it saber rattling their sabers, and looking at the potentials of creating some sort of conflict. Or, okay, let's do this. You guys want to do this? Let's do this. I don't think America could win the next war. I don't think they can. They're too far out. They're too far stretched. They're trying to keep the divide in the Middle East. They're trying to keep, God forbid, that Saudi Arabia and Iran and Afghanistan become allies. God forbid, right? I mean, it's been going on for so long. It's plain as day. Also, Pakistan test-fired a 900-kilometer range missile. Good for you, Pakistan. Good job. So everybody is now on this world stage. The chessboard, the pieces are moving. Whether you go to bed, or you're reading your book, or you're watching The View on television, the chessboard pieces are moving. Are they moving in favor of you? They definitely not. If you're living in the West, you're being phased out. So I got a message from Rosemary, who messaged me saying, Mike, leaving the UK is becoming really, really hard. They're making it illegal for us to leave. And it's not due to COVID. They're just saying you can't leave the country. So she works as she's a licensed pharmacist, and she has a PhD in engineering sciences or whatever, biosciences, and she wants to move to America, and she's having a tough time. So she has to make it, so if she gets caught, she has to pay £5,000. But she has to make it like she's doing something, so she has to make it like a funeral, or she has to make something up. And that's what she's just been telling me in her email, that she doesn't know what to do. This is crazy. So snap election in Canada and snap election in England, they're still pushing for the snap elections. The Liberal Party in Canada wants majority power, so they've already deemed Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Quebec as dangerous to vote in person because of this. Multiple strains. I don't even know what's going on with that, but they're pushing for that, and they're pushing for mail-in ballots, and we saw what happened in America. Now, the best part about all this is that a lot of people actually believe this hook, line, and sinker without seeing numbers. So we're looking at Florida, and other states that basically had zero lockdown or didn't have any social distancing or masks mandatory. Their death rate is the same. There was no change in their death. Actually, less people died in 2020 than died in 2019. Okay? So, anyways, because there was no flu this year, right? All right. So, I wanted to talk about the West being phased out. Okay? So, everything, you've worked to build when it comes to religion, equal rights, it's all being taken away from spying and being bought out and being indoctrined and being misled. So who's at fault with this? The West will be phased out. All the BLM rights that you guys, all the creating awareness, you could take that and you could take all that and just file it under in a filing cabinet that no one will ever see again. Same thing with people with religious rights. Same thing with the LGBT, all that stuff is all going to slowly be phased out. They're attacking, obviously, the white males, the whole 9 yards. It's all going to be slowly phased out as China starts to move in. It's got its hooks in the mainstream media. It's controlling social media. They will become the superpower. The transfer of power will happen. It started with the Portuguese, then it was the Portuguese, then the English. And well, if you want to go back, it's the Romans and the you know what I'm saying. Like international, global, right? And the Portuguese were dethroned. They were considered pirates because they refused to deal with the East Indian Trading Company and sell opium and drugs through the routes. And the Portuguese refused to, and that's when the Queen of England gave the green light to start blowing up Portuguese ships and ports. And that's when the Portuguese basically empire started to fall, right? And then after the English, and then the American Empire was built. The West started to grow, and people came for freedom. The Europeans came in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 80s, and early 90s to build these countries. Europeans were no longer welcome here in the 90s. 93 was when they closed European immigration into Canada. And I think in the States was a bit earlier, but still, they closed immigration off. Then they started to turn the tides. So that, everything, all the stuff that we worked to build, it's all going to be now phased out. My grandkids will know nothing about anything when it comes to affordability, owning a house. They'll be indoctrinated into believing that they're here to basically work their way through life and to please the leaders. And that's where it's headed right now. Individuality, freedom, protests. England right now, you can't even assemble to protest. I received an email from somebody that lives outside of London, and he was telling me, Mike, if you actually discuss assembling a protest in England, I could get arrested in Canada for it. And yes, I will get probably arrested in Canada for assembling a freedom of speech rally, let's say in London. I will get arrested for it because I can't do that, right? So, but if I'm a rich investor coming from China and I'm going to buy out your companies and not hire a local to work for your companies, and I don't have to have a COVID passport or get checked or stuck in a hotel, that's okay. So you see how things are going to be shifted onto a one-way street. We're going to be living in a one-way street paradigm going forward. And if you're in the wrong sect of it, you don't get to play. And I'm in that sect. A majority of you watching that are in this sect where we're not going to get to play, and we're not going to be part of, we were part of building, creating the wealth, selling the jobs over, and now they come back with a vengeance, buy us out. Our real estate's completely bought out. Locals, and Amerifornia is coming. You think I'm kidding about Amerifornia? Everybody on their YouTube channels, housing channels, were saying, yeah, housing's going to crash finally. We're going to finally see a correction with this COVID. Amerifornia, and then Amerifornia officially took place when Joe Biden, president-elect, was sworn in. And there you go. So, guys, the West was good while it lasted. I'm going to give my kids as much as that as possible. I'm teaching my kids how to pray. We go to church. I'm teaching my kids, the way of our lifestyle, the way that we were brought up, because there was nothing wrong with that way, because we loved each other, and we still do love each other. We're here for each other. We are here to, to be here for one another. And that's going to change real soon. In about 20 years, we've already learned here how to compete with one another. We've learned here now how to hate one another. We've learned here how, and it all, what it all stems from? Right at the pinnacle at the top, the mainstream media. The mainstream media basically has destroyed the fabric of Canadian, American, even Mexican. I watch news from Mexico. It's crazy. It's that. It's destroyed. And it's brainwashed the masses. Why do you think when you sign up with a new YouTube channel, they automatically have you subscribe to CNN, depending on what region you are? They automatically have you subscribe to the channels that they think that you need to be watching. So you're informed. Nobody's informed anymore. Nobody was ever informed anymore. This rare phenomena of selling our countries out isn't rare anymore. We lost. Now what do we do? Okay, let's change the media and become more media. Let's get the media to become more on our side. Well, that ship sailed a long time ago. It's mission accomplished for our enemies. It's mission accomplished for People are gonna have a rude awakening when things start to fall into place. They'll see what's gonna happen. Good night, Irene. Bar the door, Katie, because it's gonna get real tough, real fast. And I'm not trying to spew propaganda, hate, and the propaganda, hate is already here, and it's gonna come in full force. And if you thought things were bad with the new president-elect in power, watch out. Everywhere is going to fall. America was the last shining a beacon light for the rest of the world, and now we will see as things become ushered in. But remember, it only takes a stroke of a pen. But who's going to be in power at those places? I go to a government section, like a government-run office here. You don't see no Canadians working at them anymore. You don't see, like, I'm a Portuguese. Look, I'm a Portuguese. Portugal's playing today. I'm going to watch the soccer match. I'm a Portuguese. I go back to Portugal. I'll go back to the Azores. I don't care, right? But what I'm saying is, I come back. I'm in vacation somewhere overseas. I come home and I get a lady that stops me, walking. Everybody's walking through that big hall. She walks up to me and says, "You're hiding something." I know you're hiding something. I could tell. You're gonna go through immigration. I'm like, and you're gonna be searched. The lady's not even Canadian that's telling me that. And she's on Canadian soil telling me that I'm hiding something. And I'm stuck in customs, and they have me detained in Canada for like 4.5 hours. I couldn't even call my family to tell them that I'm being held. So you see what I'm saying here, guys? Do you see what I'm trying to tell you guys? It's going to be a very interesting turn of events. That's why I left the big city. That's why I'm not part of this whole big grand scheme of things, because I don't want to be part of the grand scheme of things. I want to be part of my family, and I want to be part of my kid's life, and and that's that. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What now? What do we do now? It's going to be a very interesting, and I kind of saw, like, when I lived in Florida, the immigration patterns are a bit different. So in the immigration patterns when I lived in Florida was a very Hispanic community. Now the best part of the Hispanic community is they have pretty girls, great food, music, culture, all kinds of cool stuff. Great stuff. But then when I lived in Vancouver, the dominant culture was very cold, avoidable of everybody, antisocial, hates everybody around them. And that's the difference of the culture that gets brought in, or the culture that gets absorbed. And the culture of hating everybody and everything, that's going to be full force. And if you thought you got away from it, or you think you're getting away from it, wake up, smell the coffee, look around you. Anyways, guys, I don't want to keep going on here. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Lots of love. Mike Martin's here, signing out.